Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Robert Allen, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Corporal Eliza Hanley. We warmly welcome members of the Friends of the Memorial program who are in attendance this evening. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. If able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Albert William Baird. Albert Baird was born on the 15th of March 1901 in Quambatook, Victoria, the son of Robert and Anne Baird. Before enlisting in the 2nd Australian Imperial Force, Albert worked as a labourer during the difficult years of the Great Depression. In 1933, he was involved in an accident where a train carrying a large group of men to unemployment relief works hit a sheep and was derailed. 2 men were killed and others seriously injured. Baird walked 2.5 miles to a farmhouse for help before discovering that the house had no telephone. Albert Baird enlisted in the 2nd AIF on the 17th of June 1940. At the age of 39, barely under the upper age limit for service. After joining a training battalion in September, he came down with the mumps. By October, he had recovered, and early the following month, he was fined and confined to barracks for a week as punishment for being absent without leave. On the 29th of December 1940, Private Albert Baird embarked from Melbourne, bound for overseas service. Arriving in Palestine in January, in early February he joined the 2nd 7th Battalion, which had just participated in the capture of Badinia and Tobruk. In early April 1941, the 2nd 7th, with the rest of the 6th Division, deployed to Greece to resist the anticipated German invasion. For Baird and his comrades, the Greek campaign was essentially one long withdrawal through a series of rear guard positions beginning on the 16th of April. The majority of the men were evacuated from Kalamata aboard the Costa Rica on the night of the 26th of April. The following afternoon, however, the Costa Rica was crippled by German aircraft. The men of the battalion were rescued by a pair of British destroyers that landed in Crete. The 2nd 7th was initially deployed on Crete to defend the coastline around Euliopolis, but after the German airbound landings on the 20th of May, they were soon moved to join the fighting around Chiania. On the 27th of May, at a place nicknamed 42nd Street on the north coast, the battalion took part on a wild bayonet charge that temporarily rebuffed the German advance. After this point, Private Baird disappeared and was reported missing in action. A court of inquiry held in mid-July found that he had been killed in action on the 27th of May 1941. Baird's comrades in the 2nd 7th went on to play a critical rearguard role as Allied force retreated Savianka. As a result, the battalion was left behind and taken prisoner after the withdrawal of the last evacuation vessels on the 1st of June. The battalion's casualties were so heavy that by the end of the campaign, it had essentially been destroyed. Albert Baird was 40 years old. With no known grave, today he is remembered at the Athens Memorial, which commemorates nearly 3,000 Commonwealth soldiers. His photograph is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour to my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Albert William Baird, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in hope of a better world.
Please stand for the national anthem and the reading of the ode.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. In the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.